Holy crap. You gotta give it up for Tesla. This was the best earnings call I have heard in years. Almost every question was answered precisely to the point where someone that doesn't understand half of Tesla's business can understand. We got news that is unlike anything we've gotten in a term or scale of importance in a very long time. You got not only confirmation of the Model 2 is still coming, but it could come as soon as the end of this year. We got a lot to get into, guys. There was a ton of new great information, and let's be honest, I'll talk about Tesla stock towards the end of this video. I think it's going much higher than even the 10.5% move you're seeing now in after hours. The next couple of days could be eventful for Tesla. But first, before we get into all of that information, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. It's free 99. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so. And let's get started. I hope you guys are ready. This was literally the first thing that I tweeted following the start of the earnings call. Elon says that he expects Tesla will accelerate the Model 2 and the Robotaxi to come earlier than the second half of 2025, potentially the start of 2025 or the end of 2024. We recently got that Reuters piece suggesting the Model 2 could be not in 2025, but 2026, 2027, or beyond. And there's been a lot of wild speculation on exactly this. Tesla's new generation vehicles. Notice I put it not as vehicle, but vehicles, because that's what the Tesla team actually alluded to. There could be multiple different vehicles on this platform. Now, on the earnings call, Elon Musk was asked if these vehicles are going to be similar to the Model 3 or the Model Y, kind of looks-wise and manufacturing, complexity-wise. And Elon did not comment much. And the reason why that specific analyst asked that is because Tesla announced they're going to be using the same production lines they're currently running the Model 3 and the Model Y on, which I think that's a valid question to ask. But it will help Tesla to lower the initial CapEx to get these robotaxis and Model 2s out on the roads, because they're not going to have to build brand new assembly lines just for the Model 2. It will also speed up the process because they can just start producing Model 2s on their current inventory lines. This was a lot different than even I expected. And I think given Tesla stock was trading in the 140s, yeah, on a relative basis, this is huge news. And should you see Tesla in the 140s, 150s, or even 160s following this earnings call? Probably not, but I'll go over more where I think Tesla stock is going, again, later throughout this video. Elon Musk did confirm there is now over 300 billion miles driven on FSD. And he did also confirm that about half of US drivers have already tried FSD. And I did find it noticeable, so I did put a point here. Elon said that the Robotaxi / Cybercab will be unveiled on August 8th. So could have a cyberistic kind of touch to it, like the Cybertruck. Tesla says they currently have 35,000 GPUs running to train Tesla's FSD. And that would explain why the AI training compute surged by 130% on a year-over-year basis in Q1 2024 compared to Q1 2023. Elon Musk said that Tesla expects to have about 85,000 H100s by the end of this year, which will really start to boost up the training compute that Tesla has. And I think that's ultimately why Tesla did the free trial. It makes sense, right? Tesla is going to, more than double their amount of, well, not more than double, pretty close to double, like 1.5x the amount of H100s they have. If Tesla's no longer AI training compute, that means they need more data. They need more miles, and that's exactly what they just got with a 200% increase in the total miles driven on FSD in just like 30 days. And then Elon Musk did say on the earnings call, there's not much time left before Tesla overtakes the capacity of a human driver. And Elon kind of sets that as the barometer for regulatory approval, that once Teslas are on paper, on data paper, saying, hey, they're better than a human driver, that's when you see regulators start to actually approve the robotaxi in, massive amounts. Elon Musk did also mention that the fact you already have robotaxis out on the road today helps Tesla to get that regulatory approval. So Elon Musk sounded like he's not concerned at all about that. And once robotaxi or FSD services are to the point in which it's undeniably better than a human, it's going to be pretty easy to get that approval. Elon also said reducing financing efforts, like the interest rate you pay on a car instead of cutting prices, can go a long way for profitability. Tesla says the Cybertruck profitability is improving every week. They plan to stay ahead of demand with 4680 cells. They basically said they're not going to produce all these cells when they can only manufacture so much. They're kind of going to keep them in parity, especially because there's not a lot of competition from other legacy OEMs, traditional automakers, because they have slowed down their orders with like an LNG Energy, right? Or LG Energy and other distributors that would supply Tesla and other companies. Those other companies have really slowed down their ordering, so Tesla has a lot more competition. And that's why you're continuing to see prices falling, but margins actually holding up better than expected at Tesla. Elon Musk did make a comment that I think was just very validating to the long-term thesis of Tesla. And I know Wall Street, it really isn't going to pay much attention to this, but I do think you should, and I certainly did. Elon says the Optimus could be more valuable than all of this, referencing Tesla and AI and self-driving cars, everything Tesla's got going on, energy, storage, deployment, all of that. And that's just insane. The long term, think 10, 15, 20 years down the line, Tesla could be a behemoth like you can't even imagine. Like some of those crazy unrealistic price targets could actually, be a reality. Give it enough time and give it the Optimus that will literally replace Nuance jobs. On that note, though, in regards to Optimus and AI over at Tesla, Elon was asked by, I believe it was Adam Jonas, if Tesla did not get Elon to 25% voting power, how would that essentially change the technology thesis of Tesla, the AI thesis at Tesla? Basically saying, would there be less AI incentives? Would AI leave Tesla? What would happen there? And Elon said they're fairly certain he can get up to 25% voting power, but even if he could not, he believes if he just stepped down right now, Tesla would still solve full self-driving over time. He believes Optimus could be a bigger problem because Elon is uncomfortable, as he said many times, creating a robot that could do harm to society, great harm to society, as Elon said, without having the voting power necessary to shut things down here, start things up here, really have anonymity, if you will, to make decisions with a technology that important and that potentially disastrous in the wrong hands or with just, malpractice. So that was something Wall Street really didn't care about too much, but I do think the quicker Elon gets to 25% voting power, the better. Elon did say something that I have said here on this channel for a long time now, that robotaxis being approved by different states already is a positive for Tesla. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but that's specifically what Elon said, and that's been my assumption the whole time. And that was kind of confirmed today. In regards to the robotaxi network, Elon Musk did say that Tesla will be updating the fleet. Some cars will operate, and, with that, a bunch of cars owned and operated by a user. So Tesla will own theirs, users will own theirs. Now, he did go on to say the number of cars out there on the roads, eventually Elon believes that can get to 100 million. And in that, group of cars, obviously there's going to be more developed nations than not, some nations that have robotaxis, some that don't. But over the long term, Elon was basically saying that there could be a crap ton of robotaxis out on the roads, like tens of millions at any given time. I think even more spectacular than maybe most of this video or the new things that we heard was Elon Musk referencing an AWS like service from Tesla. Check this out. So Elon was saying, and he obviously has more knowledge of this than I do, so I'll do my best to kind of explain this. But if Elon said, if a car in the future has a 60 gigawatt hour, battery pack, and if you run 50 million cars, 100 million cars, run a data center based off of that to solve, mathematical problems and just equations out there, and could kind of rent it out like AWS. Elon said, why would you not do that? Because even if, it took 1 gigawatt, of energy per hour to run that on that, server, right? Per car, per server, all of that collective data and interface and computing power with all of the Teslas out on the road could be more than any other company has today, which is kind of insane. Elon referenced if you just ran, 10 hours on the server, and it would be like a profit sharing kind of deal that the owner of the car would, get paid as well as Tesla. But if you ran for 10 hours, you have a 60 gigawatt hour battery. I mean, right? That's only 10 gigawatt hours. That's like 15% of your battery. It could make a lot of sense. And inevitably, that could be a large business for Tesla. But I think that's further down the line. But it just shows me how creative Tesla is still at a multi-$100 billion company a year, or at least over $100 billion revenue company a year. They're still finding different ways to monetize the business. And I think that's something nobody was expecting or had in mind. I haven't even thought about that once. And I've never heard another analyst talk about that either. And I did post exactly that on the X account when it was said. If you guys are not following this X account, go ahead and follow it. It is Michael Tyler over there. But I'll just read exactly what Elon said as well, just so everyone fully understands what I explained or tried to explain the best of my ability. Tesla says some AWS moment could come later down the line, basically saying they could rent the car out like a server. And I did reference another business potential for the long term, referring to Tesla's AI compute combining millions of Teslas. So imagine combining tens of millions of Teslas into a, data center, right? What's the equivalent of that? I'm not, the best guy to ask this, but I could imagine it's huge. It's as Elon said, bigger than any company's data centers today. And then Elon said it would seem like it would be a waste to not use it, referring to Tesla's AI training compute in each car, again referencing that the average driver doesn't drive much. So that would be like free money to the driver. And then Elon did say when you can do totally unsupervised drives in a Tesla, it will be the biggest event of value creation in a single day. Elon Musk did confirm they are still in talks with one major automaker to license FSD. And there was one question about the Tesla Semi, and they basically asked when will mass production start, and Tesla said they have started construction in the photos that we've seen in the investor slide deck, and expect deliveries late 2025, 2026. And this was super funny. The most stern I've heard Elon in a long time. Somebody asked, can we make FSD transfers permanent until level 5 autonomy is here? And Elon Musk just boldly said no. This was really good news as well. This is what Adam Jonas asked Elon. Adam Jonas says, what's the team's degree of confidence in remaining above 0% deliveries growth in 2024? Elon Musk said, no, I expect to have more deliveries this year than last year. So expecting to be a positive growth over 2023. And then Elon Musk was asked basically how long would it take for Chinese competition to catch up to Tesla? And Elon said, I don't know what Chinese competition can or will do, but we have done better, referencing like BYD's 40% month over month decline in EVs for the month of February and Tesla's 18% decline. kind of throwing a little bit of a jab at Chinese automakers, saying, yeah, you guys can do what you do at cheaper prices, sell vehicles for $20,000, but Tesla is still doing better in your own country. That's kind of the jab that I got there. Elon Musk, as always, says you should look at Tesla as a robotics/AI company. And then Elon said just outright, if you do not believe in robotics and autonomy, you should not be an investor in the company, referring to clearly Tesla. And that one really resonated with me. I said, damn straight on X. Elon also did make a comment to Tesla if they can be more profitable than expected. Tesla may start to buy back shares. So share buyback coming probably some point down the line in 2024. The Tesla team said layoffs are a pruning exercise for Tesla, that the future is very bright. And Elon kind of said, like, hey, if you have every year 5% more staff than you need, and you hire 5% more and 5% more, then after a couple of years, you're getting to 35% more staff than you need. And that was basically Elon saying that's why we're laying off so many people. And then Elon Musk said it really is time to reorganize Tesla for the next wave of growth. And again, just said, like, if Coca-Cola was still doing the same thing, and I'm paraphrasing, he did not talk Coca-Cola, but if Coca-Cola, McDonald's, or any other company was doing the same thing that they're doing today as they were when they started in business or were 10, 20 years in business, they probably wouldn't be here. Referencing, you have to keep changing and evolving to continue to grow. And I think that makes a lot of analytical sense if you think about any other company and what companies have had to do over time. Elon Musk was asked how much his licensing FSD agreements improved in talks, because previously Elon said they were in early talks with a, legacy OEM. And he kind of just said that again. He said it'll get to the point where automakers will have to license FSD technology, but that's something we have really heard in the past. Elon Musk said the biggest barrier to licensing FSD technology right now is once you decide to license it, if they use Tesla cameras and Tesla equipment, it's a long-term thing. It's not a short-term yes or no kind of thing. If Tesla presumably would be putting the cameras, equipment into, let's say, a Ford's vehicles, it's not something you can just start a long-term partnership and cancel it. But companies really want to know if the end-to-end and neural net platform of FSD is really the one that will finally break autonomy and create full self-driving vehicles. And Elon Musk obviously believes so. We all believe so. How can you argue that at this point? But some companies just don't have enough confidence yet to make that full assessment. And then, yes, here, like I just said, Elon said it will become more obvious about licensing FSD when FSD is more advanced, because people won't want other cars without FSD. He did reference it's like the Nokia, right? When it came out roughly around the same time the first iPhone came out, all of a sudden standard technology like the Nokia, people really didn't want it anymore. And then Elon Musk specifically said licensing FSD will become necessary for legacy OEMs to survive. Elon Musk said there's a good chance we get an FSD licensing deal this year, but it could be as far as 3 years away. And then Elon was asked about Tesla's free cash flow, and Elon said, yeah, Tesla can be meaningfully free cash flow positive in 2024. And Elon Musk did answer this question that I had, fairly strong question. He said, or he was asked, better yet, when will you launch FSD in other countries as well as other products in other countries? But it was mainly a question focused towards FSD. Elon says the FSD will work well now in any market, waiting on approval from regulators, and it will release in any market we can get that approval. And the Tesla team, Ashok Elashwamy specifically, went on to say, hey, driving's pretty universal. Like, a stop sign's a stop sign. A red light's a stoplight, a green light's a go light, a yellow light's a slow down, right? It's pretty universal across the board, so a Tesla can actually do very well right now in China and other countries, but there is little nuances and different rules, and over time, that technology would get better in China and Europe and other areas it's launched. So those were the biggest things that were announced and kind of said on the earnings call. Now, there were smaller things. There was a lot more talk about 4680 cells. Really nothing that is impactful to shareholder value anytime soon. So this was the bulk of it. And I will say, I mean, Tesla shocked Wall Street today with this one. Everyone's been so negative. And then Tesla came out and said, yeah, nope, you're wrong. That's literally all this was. And it was a very structured earnings call. Every question that was asked, I felt like there was a very good answer. Even if not every question, was the answer I wanted or the next guy wanted. You're walking away from this earnings call with a lot more clarity. The understanding that Tesla's going to be, generate substantial free cash flow. The understanding that the Model 2 is going to be coming, sooner than expected. The robotaxi sooner than expected, maybe by the end of this year. People were saying second half of 2025. That was Tesla's previous guidance. They just pushed that up to the beginning or, beginning of 2025, end of 2024. And the markets, as far as pricing in, that could have shaved off 6 months of nothing for Tesla, right? If the markets like to price out 6 months or so, 12 months or so, call it 6 months, Elon maybe just fast forwarded the timeline 6 months. You can actually start to price in maybe the Model 2 starting deliveries in 2024 and thus have a really positive impact to Tesla stock right now. You also, again, got a lot more clarity about full self-driving, the direction that is taking, the AI compute endeavors that Tesla is pursuing. There's going to be a lot more, CapEx, but Tesla believes they can continue to remain profitable in this process and keep a strong balance sheet. And, well, that's been happening so far. We did finally see the first drop in the cash pile. But at this point, Tesla's been hoarding cash for so long. Go spend some money on R&D. So overall, this was a beautiful earnings call. Like, if I were to give this a grade, I would say the earnings were like a D minus maybe. Not so great. You kind of missed across the board. Margins did come in a little bit better. If margins would have failed, it would have been an E report or an F report. So that wasn't good, but we already knew that, right? I already explained that on the channel many, many times. The stock wasn't going to move based on any of those metrics. Margins could have been a little bit more important. Yes, of course. But it was all about the Model 2. It was all about the robotaxi. And in regards to that, it was much better than expected news. So I would give the earnings call overall like an A++, like an A+ and some extra credit to go alongside it. Compared to the last 4 earnings calls that we have seen from Tesla that have been just absolute disasters, this was very constructive. There was definitely, someone that gave them a little bit of media training before this earnings call, or at least Elon, because this was a totally different Elon than you've seen in, prior quarters. Now let's talk Tesla stock here briefly. I think you guys understand the gist of what's going on with Tesla, what the data looks like, assuming you guys watch these videos that are put out twice a day. But if you don't, Tesla does have a multi-year high short interest. It's been kind of a stair step up for a while now. Sitting at 3.88% short interest off free float, $15.28 billion currently sold short in Tesla stock. You do have 107.59 million shares outstanding. So rough math would say every $10 Tesla stock goes up or down, shorts are going to make or lose $1.07 billion. That means with this $20 move higher today, short sellers have just lost about $2.2 billion today alone. That's problematic. And now you don't have this kind of void, right? From now was Wall Street's expectation until, the end of this year plus Q1, maybe Q2 of 2025 with nothing, no new models, products, no new anything coming. Now, all you got to say is, hey, we're in Q2. You're, not halfway through Q2, but getting pretty close to that point. and it's almost Q3, and then it's going to be Q4. Really just 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters, and you could have a new product from Tesla. I know Elon makes assumptions and statements, and sometimes they're not true, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But that's kind of what Wall Street picked up on more than anything else. And that's what really sent this rally home. And given when you have a short position this large, that's not an optimal situation to be in when Tesla is already very low. I think this earnings call would have been a lot different if Tesla was $250 a share, $300 per share. Like at that point, you would have priced in some of these things. You would have priced in some good news. Right now, in the 140s, you were pricing in the Model 2, the Robotaxi, not coming at least until 2026. That was Gary Black's expectation, the beginning of 2026. I mean, you're talking end of 2024. That's just on 2 different stratospheres of expectations. And as you can see with the stock, investors got shocked today. Now, you have also had retail investors, a lot of retail investors that have recently sold out of Tesla and likely, jumping back in. Now, I will say Tesla stock and then shorts covering on short positions, maybe big money getting back into Tesla stock because of this improved timeline and more clarity, right? It's not just like Elon came out and said, yeah, Model 2 end of this year. No, they said, we're going to use existing production lines. They literally gave us the secret sauce, if you will, to how they're going to get the vehicle out faster. And I think that does give this timeline a little bit more credibility, even if it's slightly off. Maybe it's 2025. Who knows? It's a little bit more credible because the Tesla team kind of explained why or how they're going to get these vehicles out before the second half of 2025. And the Tesla team did really allude to multiple products coming on August 8th. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. On a technical basis, I do want to point this out. Tesla stock's currently trading at $161.62. I don't know where things will level out here in after hours. In after hours, but you are above this gap fill level, this almost 6% drop you've seen on April 15th. You're above this. And let me just do a horizontal line here to kind of show you. This is the gap fill level at about $161.33 per share. You're all the way up here now. Now your 20-day moving average is sitting at 165. I think you have a pretty clear kind of upside move from now until 165. If you get above 165, that's where things could get a little squeezy to the upside. That's where some shorts might start to feel a little bit more pressure because the aggregate short position was likely taken out in this demand zone, this consolidation period you've seen really from the beginning of March through the middle of April, kind of for a month and a half there. You were just kind of trading sideways in this $10, $20 range. If you get above 165, you start to break out of that range. That could be pretty epic. Now, 180 would be another level of resistance, 188, and then you're back to $201 per share. And honestly, as long as there's no disaster with big tech, no geopolitical problems, or bad data, let's call it that, I think Tesla stock can go well into the 180s in the near-term future, like by next week, maybe even 200 plus if you start to get, more of a short squeeze aspect of this trade. Why is Tesla, again, let's be honest with ourselves, why is Tesla not in the 200s? Just judging off of the new information we got, the sped up timeline of the Model 2, of course, compared to 2024, and our expectations were 2.1 million deliveries. That doesn't look like it's going to happen, right? You do have some negatives. Tesla's still cutting prices, margins are still falling a little bit, but relative to the next product from Tesla and the next mass scale product coming a lot sooner than we expect, maybe, end of 2024, I feel like that offsets a lot of the near-term problems we've been having if markets are forward-looking, in which they are. If you're looking towards the future, then these problems of, slower growth hopefully start to go away in maybe 2.5 quarters from now. I think that is justification for Tesla to be back in the 200s. let alone what a short squeeze could do, or just overall momentum and renewed investor interest in the stock. Coming tomorrow, we will have durable goods orders month over month. That's expected to come in at positive 2.2%. We'll see what happens there. That could affect Tesla, that could affect the broader markets, but in fact, I know I've heard, some people saying this already. I don't think this is going to be something where Tesla opens tomorrow and just sells straight off. I think, in fact, it's going to be the opposite. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla ends the trading day tomorrow up 20% or more. But hey, what do I know? Let me know down below in the comment section your opinion on all of this information. Is this good? Is this bad to you? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you buying again? Are you selling now that you got a little bit of a rally here? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, congratulations to anyone in the trading community that went alongside the trade that I did today or made something similar, which was a Tesla 165 call expiring May 10th at $250-ish, $247, only up $3 on the day, but you're pretty close to going in the money there, and that's my expectation tomorrow. And then you got the 10 debit spreads for May 10th, Tesla 185. Bought those, sold the 195s. That is a potential $10,000, $9,700 net gain if Tesla stock can close above 195 by May 10th, which I wouldn't count out at this point. And if these do print some massive tendies, well, I'll be looking to buy more Tesla stock.